Hi, everyone. Back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. And surprise, surprise, you'll not be surprised to know what this one is. It's all about something that the club has just announced, a new scheme that they've cooked up that has seemed to have gone down like a bit of a turd sandwich in amongst the fan base. I'm going to get stuck right into this and I'm going to give you my tuppence worth on this situation. Now, before I go any further, I will not be naming the person that has caused the furore. I don't believe in that crap. I'm not going to encourage any kind of pylons onto this person. That's not the kind of thing that we do on this channel. I'm not interested in that. You all know probably who it is. You've all seen it on social media. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to tell you why I think the club have made a huge mistake on this one. But if you didn't know, you've been away on business or you've just woke up or you've been to the moon, I'm going to tell you all about it. So Newcastle United have launched a new scheme, which is called the Fan Advisory Board. It's one of these cutting edge new schemes that the club has come up with. They've been thinking about it in a think tank. And this is what the Fan Advisory Board, or FAB, as they want to call it, is all about. So it's a 9-person supporter board that was officially unveiled in November last year as part of the club's wider fan engagement plan. It will be key conduit for two-way dialogue between supporters and the club's key decision makers, with a focus on the club's strategic vision and objectives, business operations, stadium and key match day issues, as well as any relevant heritage items, community activities, and the club's equality, diversity, and inclusion commitments. Now, that doesn't sound like something that's very frivolous, is it? That sounds like something you should be quite proud to be part of. Now my understanding of the situation is that there was quite a few people, applicants that threw into, upwards into the hundreds of applicants that applied for it. And it was whittled down by a 3-person committee, as far as I understand. And the 3-person committee have chosen the 9-strong panel. Now, invariably, a lot of the people who've been chosen haven't really been, challenged or no one's had a real issue with it, bar one. And it seems to kind of buck the trend a lot. The people who have been on the board or been elected to the FAB committee is kind of people you would expect to see. You've got season ticket holders for a long, long time. You've got people who have followed the club for 30 years, maybe live out the area, come back for the odd game here and there. You've got young fans, who had season tickets for 10, 12 years or whatever, and they're trying to get the young demographic of supporters, which is important because the club has to look after the future. But there is one supporter in particular who's the national fan representative that's caused a bit of a stir. Now, before I get into this, there is a school of thought on this. It's something that's really flicked my switch for quite a long time, actually. So Newcastle United is a very proud club. It's got very proud supporters, and some supporters can't afford season tickets. Some supporters have had to give them up because of the cost of living. Some supporters have moved away from the region and can't get back to games. Some supporters got so disenchanted with Mike Ashley they didn't go back and they can't get a ticket now. So there's a vast array of fans that can't get tickets. People who live abroad and stuff like that as well. And to me, every fan is important of Newcastle United. I hate this kind of higher than thou rhetoric that people have, that because they've got a season ticket that they're more important than you are. And I've heard fans say this before: you don't go to a game, so you don't matter. And I think that's bullshit, because if we want to be a huge football club, we have to embrace new fans all over the world. So I'm just going to say that first and foremost, that there's nothing wrong with having fans in far-flung regions of the world. That's what you want to do as a football club. I grew up supporting Newcastle in the Keegan era in the 90s, where that club was what was happening. We were over in Thailand on pre-season tours. We signed Alan Shearer. But I remember going to America with my wife when we were younger, before the kids came along. It sounds horrible, I don't know. Went to Disneyland, and I remember seeing Manchester United, Liverpool shirts and Newcastle shirts up there, because we were a club that people in America were aware of, because we were pushing for the Premier League title, under Keegan. Then we disappeared in the rabbit hole and we came back under Bobby. And a lot of these fans in these other regions where football isn't the predominant sport, they would have found us and discovered us through watches on the TV. And because the Premier League is so big now, a lot of countries around the world will be seeing teams, they'll be supporting Newcastle, supporting Brighton, West Ham. That's why a lot of the teams do pre-season tours there, like we did. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow your fan base in the States, for example. But I think where the club have really fucked up here is that it's not the appointment per se that they're fucked up at. It's the way that they've relayed the appointment that's the real bollock being dropped here. So loud, you can hear it cracking off the floor and cracking the fucking tiles. The way they've communicated this has been utterly abysmal. As I said, I'm not going to name the person. I'm not even going to talk about the bit about our background. It's all up on the website if you want to go and look for yourself and be a sleuth. But this is the statement here, and this is the bit that's really flicked the switch on a lot of people. So all these people put their own kind of statements on about what made them kind of be suitable for the position, so to speak, and why they're in the position of the 9 strong committee. So this person said they're based in New York. I was introduced to Newcastle United just after the takeover, and I'll just pause that a little bit there. Now, Newcastle United post takeover is obviously going to bring in new fans and fans from all over the world and stuff like that as well. But this fan base has broken away from 15 years of mediocrity, and they feel like they've gone through the hard times. They feel like they've almost come out of jail to breathe fresh air again with this new takeover. And this kind of thing here, the club have not read the room properly at all. That little statement there can just really wind people up more than they've even anticipated in terms of, this person hasn't done the miles and they haven't been through the hardships of watching Newcastle be shit. Why should they have this position? Now, whether you think that's self-entitled or not, I empathize. I understand why people are pissed off about this. It goes on and it gets even worse on this one. So it says, I'm an active member of the Toon Army and NYC. Fair play, good on you. Who regularly hosts supporters from across the US, UK, and around the world at our beloved home base. Brilliant, great stuff. All on board with that. I attended my first match in Newcastle against Arsenal in May 2023. So that was only last year. And since then, I've been away to Leeds and Chelsea, followed by both Sam Fender shows at St James's Park. Now, I'll just pause on that again there, right? I live in North Shields and I couldn't go to fucking Sam Fender. I couldn't afford it, for starters. And you couldn't get a ticket for love nor money. If you happened to be scratching your bollocks when they came up to be available online, they were all gone. So that little thing again will flick people's switches. The away games is the big thing that's annoying people, because how can somebody who went to their first game in May go to away games where other people haven't got enough points to get away day tickets? This is a real PR disaster by the club. It really, really is. The 3 home games in America, no problem with that at all, because that was all over there. No, you can't argue with that as well. But this is the next bit. The Champions League game, PSG. So many supporters who have stuck with the club through thick and thin and kept a season ticket, even though Ashley just ruined it for a lot of people, walked away like myself and a few other people. People who've gone to games couldn't go to PSG. And to read that again is going to flick the switch. And the NUSC, well, I'm not really going to comment on that, but this has really put the cat amongst the pigeons in amongst the fan base, and I think it's been a total misreading of the room by the club. I really do. Now, the club have done a lot of good. The new owners have done a lot of good, right? I'm not going to sit here and slag them off. They've got pretty much everything right, but they have got a couple of things wrong of late. There was the cup final tickets, there was the e-ticketing scenario, there was communication and amongst the fan base. The NUST has been working overtime with a lot of these things, having to ask them questions kind of in the last 6 or 7, 8 months. And there's been a couple of decisions that have been made that haven't quite gone down as well with the fan base as the previous ones done. And the way this is being communicated is been an utter PR disaster by the football club. Whoever didn't reword that statement and just whacked it up on the website, somebody needs to have their arse kicked in the club for the communication side of it. I'm sorry, I hate putting pressure on people. I do a lot of communication in my day job, my non-evermore job. But you have to be very, very careful with the rhetoric that you use when you communicate things, especially to an extremely proud fan base who over the last kind of few months have been feeling a little bit underwhelmed and a little bit anxious about things and stuff like that. It's been a very delicate time. We've just come off the euphoria of the Sunderland game, and yes, that's had everybody floating on air a little bit, but that's only going to last a certain period of time. And it's so sad that less than 24 hours removed, the club are back to in a situation where a large portion of the fan base are annoyed. Now, I feel sorry for the person who's in this position. That you might not like that watching this, but I don't think I'm not going to attack the person, and I think it's unfair to personally go and attack the person. People have been digging up history and supposed posts. Now, I don't really believe a lot of these things because people can doctor and edit things and everything else. So I'd take that all with a huge pinch of salt. But the problem is that the club have made this decision themselves. They have decided, as part of this 3-person committee that this person is suitable enough for this position, and to allow them to put the comment on there like they have, with a couple of real grenades thrown in there, is a real schoolboy error thing. It really, really is. And I think the club have put themselves in a situation that they did not want to be. There's something that's, deemed to be positive is now getting spread amongst the Newcastle United fan base as a negative. Now, whichever way you sit on it, some people won't give a fuck. That's fair enough. That's entirely your prerogative. Some people will be absolutely furious about this. Now, I've seen comments from all different walks of life in Newcastle United fans, certainly social media, and it's not always the best barometer to double check, but there's prominent people within the fan-led media who have voiced concerns about this as well. And normally they're the first people to stick up for the football club. So this just shows you how far away from the post this has landed. And I think the club have put themselves in a situation here that they really didn't want to be. And I feel sorry for this person, because I have a feeling that this person is probably going to have to step down from a position before they've even done anything in the position, because of really bad planning and really bad communication by the football club. But that's my thought process on it. I think this is a bit of an own goal. I think the football club need to come out and make a comment about it. If they're going to stand by the person they've selected, then fair play to you. But turn around and tell the fan base that are annoyed about it why you picked that person, and let that person carry on and do the job. I do think it's going to be very difficult for that person to be on that board with this backlash and this furore that's come out of the wash already. But that's just my take on it. You'll have your own take on it. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We always like to hear from you. If you like this kind of a thing, smash subscribe, come and join us. All free content, evermore. We cover, as much as we can, opinions, just like we're talking about now as well. We don't, we don't try and kiss anybody's arse. If we think something's wrong, we're going to call it out. If we think something's ill-advised, we're going to call it out. That's just what we do on this channel. But we're certainly not going to jump on and pile on this person who's been put in this position, because I don't think that's fair or right. I don't think you should do either. But I can't tell you what to do. But this is definitely a topic that the club maybe didn't want to boil over to what it's become. But we always like to hear from you guys. So let us know in the comments below what you think. We'll be back with some more content soon. Have a cracking day wherever you are, everyone. And we'll see you later. Cheers. Bye.